The reproduction or other commercial use of this recording in whole or in part is prohibited.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please?
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond Snake Oil. I am your host, Scott Schnars, and today I'm going to be talking about how to fix that busted old sales presentation that you have. I was in a meeting recently and I started to notice that a lot of the sales presentations that people are giving are pretty formulaic. I'm going to show you what I mean and then offer up some suggestions on how possibly you can fix up yours in order to drive business a little bit faster for you and for your sales team. Why don't we jump into it right now? So probably the first thing that you want to take note of is just changing the logo from small company to large company. That's not a custom presentation. The second slide in any kind of sales presentation is always some sort of an agenda slide, and it's always about us, and it's about the company, and it's about the customers, and what analysts are saying, and the product, and all the awards that the product has won, and then there's this ambiguous next steps component in there. As a narcissistic video blogger, I'll tell you what, make the presentation about your customers, don't make it about you. Take all of this stuff, put it into an appendix at the end of your presentation, have it at your fingertips. If somebody asks about it, you can always pull it out and show it to them, but take it out of your presentation. Inevitably, that About Us slide comes up, and it's always when the company was founded, how many employees the company has, where they're located, how many customers they have, and there's always some quote from some analyst that you've never ever heard of talking about how great your company is. And I understand the goal of this. The goal of it is to build some sort of credibility with your prospect or your customer, and it's to show the level of pedigree that you have in the industry that you're in. But why is there always a building there? There's always this picture of this random office building in the About Us slides, and it's not like any customer or prospect has ever looked at that building and went, wow, we've got to do business with them. Look at the building that they're in. I've never understood why that picture was in these About Us slides. What comes next, and this is especially true in startup environments, is a slide about the founders, where they went to school, who they are, how they know each other, what their kids' names are, all kinds of information about the founders to build a little bit more credibility. But you know what? The bottom line is, nobody's going to remember this in 20 minutes after you walk out the door, and nobody, frankly, really cares about who the founders are or what it is that they've done, unless there's some sort of industry standard rock star. You can probably skip this slide. Everybody knows what comes next in this formula. It's the customer slide. That's right, it's the customer slide with the stretched out logos and you standing in the front of the room praying to dear God that nobody asks you how Red Lion Hotels and Inns is using your products because you don't have the faintest idea in the whole world. Customer slide is great. Again, put it in the back of your appendix, but make sure that you know the stories on these. You don't want to be up there and have somebody say, well, how does Bechtel use your product? And you don't have the faintest, foggiest idea how that actually works. The next part of this formula is always about the product, and the first bullet on all these slides about the product is that the product won some award from some magazine that no one's ever heard of, Widgets Monthly, and it was a Gold Star Award, and therefore we have credibility and you should buy our stuff. Doesn't work that way in the real world. This is the type of information that may or may not be relevant to your customer or prospect, so no sense in putting it in a slide until you know what is or what isn't important. Finally, you do some dog and pony demonstration of your product, showing it kind of very generically, and then finally you sort of leave this next steps ambiguous slide up where it's like a fill in the blanks or a Mad Libs, and at the end of the presentation you're supposed to fill in the blanks, and away you go off to more and more business. Odds are you're probably going to leave the room with a, that's awesome, we need to think about this, and we'll give you a call in a couple of days. And unfortunately that call never comes. So to anyone that's had to sit through a presentation like that, I want to apologize now for salespeople around the world. It was pretty atrocious, but I think that it gets used a little bit too often, and I'm not sure why. I think that a lot of it stems from when companies go out, especially in the technology industry, when companies go out to raise funding. That's very much the formula that they use to raise their funding, and what they do is they strip out the financials, but they essentially leave everything else, and then they present that presentation to their salespeople. But I think that there's a lot of things that can be done to make it better. I think the first thing that I would do is I would take everything that's in that presentation that I just walked you through, that very formulaic presentation, drop that into an appendix, and that is kind of your go-to points when questions about the company come up and the history and who the customers are and all that good stuff. The second point about it would be to do your homework in advance. And let's take a look at another presentation, maybe breeze through it a little bit quicker, and walk through what it is that maybe you could add to your presentation to make it a little bit more powerful for your customers, especially if this is the first time you're presenting your company and your product. One of the things that I learned from Dave Berman when I was working with him at WebEx was always start presentations with a quote, and I think that the more powerful quote you can find, especially as it applies to your audience and as it applies to your industry, the better off you're going to be. Think about all the work that you do leading up to your sales presentation as homework that you need to do for the big test, and you're studying. You're not just going to cram for it an hour before the test, but you're taking a few weeks to study for this big presentation or this big test. Take some time to learn about your customer, learn about what it is, why are they thinking about making a move to a new technology or a new standard or a new service or whatever it is that you're selling, and document that and share that with them in the presentation. It helps your customers understand that you understand their business, helps you understand that they're listening, it allows you to iterate what it is that they've told you and to confirm that what it is that they've told you is actually true and that you're going down the right path. Once they've told you why they're thinking about making a move, it's important to drill down as you're doing your homework on this account as to what the overall impact of their business is. If they've told you that they're losing due to competitors, find out how much and what that means, and make sure that you include that in your presentation, and make sure that everybody in the room gives you some level of agreement that that is truly the case. If you go in and you say that it's your customer might be losing $250,000 a quarter, and they say no, we only meant $2,500 a quarter. That's going to change the direction of your presentation and your entire pitch altogether. If you really want to make a strong impact in your presentation, go out and interview some of the people who are really affected by everything that your business champion has told you. If your business champion is telling you that you're losing revenue or losing sales, go out and talk to the sales VP. Find out what it is that he thinks. And you present that to an executive staff, and when they see that the VP of sales is saying that the competitors are eating our lunch because we don't have a particular standard, that's going to make a lot of people stand up and listen. We've already talked about the business requirements in this presentation. Now's an opportunity for you to talk about the technical requirements that your customer has brought to your attention. Again, this is a great opportunity to just review and make sure that everybody is on the same page and that there aren't going to be any surprises at the end of the presentation. Now's the opportunity for you to go into your demo, and this is a customized demo based on the requirements that your prospect has outlined for you. And it's also the chance for you to show why your company is going to be the right fit, or why your technology is the right fit, or why your service is the right fit for the prospect that you're talking to. Again, very customized and really gets into the details of the requirements that they've outlined for you, not something that you're just making up. And then finally, the next step slide is going to be your roadmap to a success. And this really starts from the minute that you leave the organization or leave the customer's office on through to the first shipment of the product or services that you're offering. What it really allows you to do is to kind of get a feel for whether or not you're even in the ballpark. You put this roadmap out there, and they can either say, yeah, that's right, it's too aggressive, it's too long, we're really not sure, and you can really get into the crux of what any open issues are. So there you have it, everyone. Try to stay away from the formula as much as you can, and more importantly, try not to make it about you. Make it about your customer, make it about your prospect, just make it about them. In the future, I'm going to go into some more details on how to make the whole thing look more pretty, but in the meantime, send me your comments. Did it suck? Did it rock? Let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching. Good luck and good selling.